Welcome back to Health Coach Radio, Health Coaches. I'm Erin Power, and today I want to take you through what our coaches are saying in terms of what their biggest obstacles are to health coaching success. So the backstory is at Primal Health Coach Institute, which is the health coaching school that I'm on the faculty of. I'm the coaching director at that school. We ran an end-of-year survey to our students and graduates, thousands of people, to get a sense of what they're doing. What are they working on? Where are they working? How is their health coaching practice going? Are they employed? Are they self-employed? What resource would they like from us? So on and so forth. And there's a lot of really interesting questions on this survey that was, designed to help us as an educational institution guide the educational experience of health coaches, which is very important to us. For whatever it's worth, at Primal Health Coach Institute, we are really always trying to elevate the industry of health coaching. That's honestly one of the reasons why the curriculum is always improving and changing. We're always adding more specialty courses. But the other thing is, and I'm going to have some conversations around this coming up in the podcast here in the next few weeks, but the other thing is, one of my personal crusades is making sure health coaches are operating in scope of practice. We're behaving ourselves. We're not overstepping the purview of a health coach. I just really want to put this out there as a request. If you're uncertain of what you're allowed to do as a health coach, just ask. You can just send me a message, podcast@primalhealthcoach.com. But also, it would be a really good idea to get super clear on what your scope of practice is for a health coach. And hopefully your school taught you that. So for whatever it's worth, we teach that a lot at our school because it means a lot to me, because I care about the health coaching industry so much. And I want us all to have a great industry that we can build into, but also that can help so many people. And the way we can do this is by really watching ourselves. Currently, health coaching is an unregulated profession. That's amazing. And we have a very powerful scope of practice. So we don't have to overstep it. We don't have to put on our imaginary lab coats and pretend to be doctors. We have amazing things we can help our clients with. That's just the preamble. That's not what today's episode is about. But I do have a future episode coming out about a pretty cool, quote unquote, diagnostic tool that health coaches can use. Now, I'm using that language loosely because we can't diagnose anything. But in the spirit of helping clients get clear on where their opportunities are, we do have a quote unquote diagnostic tool that we can use. So I'm thinking about that episode coming up here not too long from now. But today, I want to take you through one of the questions that we asked in our end of year survey and what our health coaches said, because I'm predicting that what the students and graduates of Primal Health Coach Institute are feeling is probably pretty industry standard. You can probably extrapolate it out to the whole industry. The question was, what are your biggest obstacles to coaching success right now? And it was kind of an open-ended question. We allowed the survey respondents to type in whatever answer they wanted, and then people could vote and upvote on those answers. So here were the top 3 things that people said. Number 1, finding paying clients. Number 2, confidence in business development and marketing. And number 3, technology, website, tools, systems, etc. I'm not remotely surprised by this. I'll tell you what, in the 10 years that I've been with Primal Health Coach Institute, these have been consistently the number 1 struggles, 1, 2, and 3, the whole time. And they've never changed. Those are always the biggest struggles. So that's good news. That means we're right on track. That means that these are the hard parts of becoming a health coach, and they just are. And they're also completely solvable. Every single one of them is absolutely a surmountable struggle. So that's great news. Finding paying clients, totally doable. Confidence in marketing and business development, yep, you can develop your confidence, 100%. I have faith in you. Learning technology, oh heck yeah, you can learn how to do that. So right out the gate, no problem. No problem. These are the main struggles. And yeah, they're always the main struggles. There was no surprises here, is I guess what I'm saying. So let me just speak to these 3 factors here. And again, I'm going off the dome. But these are questions I've had to answer hundreds of times with health coaches over the years. So I feel like I have a good grasp of what the feelings are. Let's go with number 1 first, finding paying clients. I want to give you some facts. There are more clients out there than we can possibly help. No matter what specialized niche avatar client you are interested in, there's more people out there than you can help. Let's imagine you're a health coach that works on ingrown toenails and you have a brick and mortar practice in, I'm trying to think of a small town, random small town, any town. The population of this town is 30,000 people. If 100 people in that small town have ingrown toenails, you're set. If you have a $2,000 ingrown toenail program, there's your $200,000 a year. That's pretty good living. Okay, so that's a weird little thought experiment just to drive home the point that you're going to be fine. Because the thing is, you don't have to set up shop in any town, USA. You can set up shop online where you have access to billions of people, at least hundreds of millions, depending on how, where you want to zero in, right? Maybe you want to focus on English speaking countries or Spanish speaking countries or whatever. Maybe you live on one side of the pond or the other side of the pond. Time zones matter, hemispheres matter. Yeah, break it down into time zones, hemispheres, languages. There's still so many people who need your help. I actually ran this experiment through my pal ChatGPT. And I was doing this to remind myself of the potential impact I can have. So the question I asked ChatGPT was, this needs to be edited because I'm trying to find this now. This is a long time this is taking me. I asked ChatGPT, how many women in the US and Canada between the ages of 45 and 60 are pre-diabetic, insulin resistant, type 2 diabetic, or have at least 2 of the metabolic syndrome markers? Because these are the people that I kind of want to work with. 45 to 60, Canada and the US, and they're pre-diabetic, insulin resistant, type 2 diabetic, maybe they're obese, high blood pressure, they have metabolic syndrome. ChatGPT went through a major deep dive on the research on this and said, on the order of 20 million women in the US and Canada between 45 and 60 are already in some stage of metabolic dysfunction, pre-diabetic, insulin resistant, living with type 2 diabetes, or carrying multiple metabolic syndrome risk factors. That's at least half of midlife women and closer to 2 out of every 3 midlife women. So I'm all set. I'm all set. You probably have a large target audience just like that. So anyway, this part of the pep talk is, you get it. I'm just reminding you that the paying clients are out there. How do you find paying clients? Because that's really the thing. It's okay, they're out there. How do I get them? Well, man, if I had the magic wand, like, ta-da, there's your 100 clients. I just gave them to you. That would be amazing, but I don't. But here's what I typically say when this question comes up. They find you. They find you. That's always been true. That is true here. And now that will always be true. They will find you. So when they find you, what are they finding? What are you doing? Who are you? What do you stand for? What do you do? And so this leads us into the next thing, which is, well, how do I put myself out there? You have to be out there. You have to make yourself known to this massive audience of health consumers who are shopping for you. So when people say, I'm nervous about putting myself out there, and they'll say, where do I find paying clients? It's like, you've got the solution right there. You just have to do it. Now, the marketing, business development, putting myself out there concern comes down to confidence. In fact, that's literally how this is articulated. Confidence in marketing myself. Well, how do we build confidence in anything, gang? Think about that. How do you become a confident skier? How do you become a confident golfer? How do you become a confident violinist? You suck at first, and then you practice and get better, and then you're confident. Like, we don't get confidence. We don't get it. There's no way of just getting confidence. You simply have to execute anyway, and then you earn confidence over time. One thing I'll mention is that the stakes here are quite low, because when you first get started marketing yourself, let's say you're going to put yourself on social media, or you're going to write a new newsletter, start a Substack or YouTube channel or something like that, marketing stuff, right? Or you're going to host, workshops at the yoga studio, or you're going to put business cards at the chiropractor's office, which is just a little too passive for my liking. But as an example, these are all marketing tactics that you can do. Nobody's taking you up on it at first. You might have 0 participants at the workshop at the yoga studio. You might post a story to your Instagram. You might post to your Instagram feed and nobody looks at it. You might create a podcast episode and nobody downloads it. There's nobody listening at first. That's just true. Just like you're not immediately good at playing the violin, you're not immediately good at marketing yourself. Why would you be? Why would you be? Sometimes I think this is just a little bit of an offshoot thought. I think that the concept of virality has kind of infected us. That was a really bad pun. But what I mean by that is the concept of virality. I just have to get one video that goes viral. I just need that one celebrity client, and then I'm set for life. Yeah, that's a slot machine, man. You're probably not going to cash in on that one. So instead, at the lottery ticket actually is a really good example of this. A slot machine, lottery ticket, whatever it is, you can waste a lot of money to try to win a small lottery, or you could just invest that money into the bank, into the investment account, right? And you'd make more. It doesn't feel as sexy though. We do want the win. We want the win. We want the immediate success. We want the lottery. It's just unlikely. So I just want to encourage you to just start putting yourself out there. It's not going to be good. You're going to feel really dumb. You're going to feel like you're not saying anything interesting, or you don't have anything to talk about, or I'm not good on camera. I don't know what to say. Nobody's listening. What if I say something dumb and then somebody comes in and debunks me? None of that's going to happen. Nobody's paying attention at first. And I'd say this with love. The stakes are very low. Start. You've got to start, because when the client discovers you, the algorithm just delivers you to them, and they start scrolling and learning about you. What are they going to see? Are they going to see somebody who didn't post because they were too scared? Oh, who is this health coach person? They don't have any content. I know nothing about them. I guess I'll scroll away. Or is there going to be something there for them to engage with and learn about you? So there's no magic wand for confidence in marketing yourself. You simply have to start it, go through the sucky first drafts of things, be terrible at first. You have to exist in the marketplace. You have to appear to be in business. So when somebody finds you, they can see that you're in business. They can see what you stand for. They know what you do and don't do. You have to start talking about that immediately. That's boring advice, but it's true. Now, if it's like, how am I going to go find clients? Well, then you could engage with medical clinics in your city, right? That's something that I think is interesting lately, especially as health coaching as an industry grows. I think a lot more, maybe smaller medical clinics are looking to hire health coaches. So let's say, for example, there's a clinic in your city that does women's health or sports performance or something, and they really specialize. You might go in there and say, "Hey, I'm a sports performance health coach," or "Hey, I'm a women's health coach. I'd love to get hooked into your client pipeline here. Do you have any use for health coaching in your practice?" And they bet you they do. I mean, why wouldn't they? Why would a medical clinic or a sports performance clinic maybe want a health coach? For patient compliance. Patients come in with injury or illness or medical conditions or things they're trying to improve in their health, and the doctor tells them what to do, and they don't do it. What if they did it? They'd have better outcomes, and everybody wants them to have better outcomes. So there's absolutely an appetite for health coaches inside medical clinics. Now, there you go. That's a good example of how to find clients. So if you want to pound the pavement and go find some clients, go find an established business and try to insert yourself into it. And that could be a brick and mortar business, like a sports clinic or a medical clinic. It could also be an online business. You could cold DM, cold email somebody like me and say, "Hey, Erin, do you have any need for health coaches in your business?" Now, I don't, so don't bother emailing me. I'm a one-woman show, but there are some health coaches out there looking to hire coaches into their business. So if you want to find somebody where there's already a repository of clients, like where can I just find a bunch of clients and get them, then you might end up working in somebody else's business. That's amazing. There's a lot of jobs for health coaches now. We have a whole course inside the Primal Health Coach Institute course catalog called How to Land a Health Coaching Job. And we pounded the pavement figuring out like who's hiring, which of these jobs are legitimate and illegitimate, which ones are look kind of like there's potential for growth and development. What are these employers looking for? We did all that work, and there's tons of jobs available. And so that would be, as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to go find clients, you're getting a job. If you're going to market in private practice, then the clients will be finding you. So part of your job is to market yourself. So these things are connected. These first 2 points on this bulleted list of concerns, How do I find clients and I'm scared to put myself out there? Those are very, very closely connected. I was having a conversation with somebody in my mastermind group. So I'm in a mastermind group with a bunch of other health and wellness business professionals and owners. And these are successful business owners. And one of the gals was saying, "Oh, I just don't like putting myself out there on social media." And I was surprised because this is a person who has a very successful business. And I said, but it's your job. It's not just this nice to do thing. It's not some kind of goofy time waster. It's your job to put yourself out there. You have to do it. Just like you have to do your books and you have to do your coaching calls with your clients and do your check-ins with your clients. You have to market yourself too. It's non-negotiable. You don't get to skip over that part if you're in private practice. If you don't do it, the clients won't find you. So whatever obstacle is in the way of you doing that business development, that marketing of yourself, how can I say this nicely? You just need to eternal sunshine those concerns out of your brain. That was a real deep cut. The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a movie from the maybe early 2000s where you could have some of your difficult memories or difficult parts of your brain, the overthinking parts of your brain, just like plucked out. So then you're free from those ruminating thoughts. Um, I reference that movie way more often than I should, but it was kind of a cult classic. So, but anyway, I would like you to lobotomize, delete the part of your brain that thinks that you're not worthy enough to put your message out there or that you're not good enough at it. None of us is good at it. We're just all figuring it out and doing it anyway. We're just doing it anyway. People will sometimes say to me, like, oh my gosh, Erin, your content is so good. How do you do it? My content is not good. My content is not good. It's just content. Content is like bacon. Even bad bacon is good bacon. Do you know what I mean? Bad content is good content. You need to be out there. People need to see what you're about. Have I made my case? I've been making this case for 10 years. The answer to where do I find clients is they find you, and the way they're going to find you is by you putting yourself out there. So the first two bullet points on this list of biggest obstacles that our health coaches are struggling up against are things that solve each other. These two things solve each other. If you put yourself out there, the paying clients will find you. If you don't, then it all falls apart. Then we continue to struggle. This blurry sign over my shoulder, you can't really read it because of the depth focus of the camera here, but it says if nothing changes, nothing changes. Now, that's a conversation you're going to have with your clients. Your clients are going to come to you and say, yeah, I do want to sleep better, but I also don't want to stop scrolling on my phone till 2 a.m. And you'll say, well, you have to. That's what you'll feel. Okay, you'd like to sleep better, but you also really love disrupting your sleep. Well, these two things are at odds. You want clients to find you, but you don't want to put yourself on social media. That's at odds. You need to reconcile that. And I'm hoping that I'm quasi pep talking you, kind of tough loving you into reconciling that for yourself. What could possibly go wrong if you post something on Instagram? Worst case scenario, it kind of sucks. Well, nobody saw it, so you're fine. Best case scenario, maybe a month later, an ideal client comes across it, loves your vibe, clicks the book now button in your bio, and gets on your calendar. I have mentioned this anecdote, but this comes up for me way more often than you would imagine. I get people in my calendar who book consultations with me and they'll say, I've been following you for 3 years. I've been following you for 5 years. I've devoured every piece of content you've ever made. And I finally took the plunge. Well, thank goodness I was making my crappy content this whole time because that person was there watching quietly in the background. I had no idea. You don't know who's looking. Why don't you assume that your ideal client is looking? There's 100 ideal clients out there for you. And they're just waiting to find you. They're just waiting for the universe, the algorithm to deliver you to them. And when that happens, are you there? You got to be there. Okay. Okay. The third and final of the top three biggest obstacles that our health coaches are feeling on their path to success is technology. Website, systems, integrations. Oh my gosh, all these words. Now, this is a conviction I hold quite strongly. And I will preface this by saying one thing, which is that I myself am a tech savvy person, and I always have been. I always have been. So I always want to, check my own biases. My bias is to just be pretty good at figuring out tech. But I can also, I can see the other side. It does feel daunting to know where to start with this and what technology should I get. I did a roundup of technology maybe a year and a half ago, or even longer on this podcast, but I will riff on some things that I think are pretty useful to have right out the gate. So, number one, people have to be able to know you exist. So, you have to have something out there in the world in the realm of marketing. And I think social media is your best bet. I know it feels very low vibe. I know, but what else are you going to do? I mean, it's free. It's on everybody's phone. Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, has 4 billion users worldwide. So I would put myself there if I were you. Yeah, I would. I just would. And if you feel better on a different platform, maybe you're an X person or a LinkedIn person or a Pinterest person or Blue Sky or something more, encrypted or whatever, knock yourself out. But before any of this works, you have to have a business that's apparently open. So put yourself out there. We've already talked about that a lot. Then you think about it from the customer journey. Like, just put on your thinking hat and say, okay, so let's say my ideal client, Bob Smith, finds me on Facebook. Well, Bob's going to want to book in with me to talk about his health struggles. So I should have some way of Bob getting in touch with me. So a couple things I think are useful. Number one, I really am a staunch advocate for the online booking tool. And if I could just make a quick plea to everybody on planet Earth, just get a booking link. Just so much easier for your life if you have a booking link that is synced up to your calendar. So the way this works is you might use a tool like Calendly or Acuity Scheduling, or I think, to be honest with you, Google has come out with a booking tool as part of the G Suite. So there's lots of them. Oh my gosh, there's a million of them. You will set your availability. You'll say, I take calls on Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And you'll sync that up to your personal calendar, your digital calendar, so that all of your available time slots are showing and all of your unavailable time slots aren't available to book. And then you get a booking link. You send to Bob, like, hey, Bob, click this link to book a spot in my calendar. We'll talk about your health concerns. Boom, now Bob's in your calendar. That's one way of a person getting in touch with you. You might also maybe decide to build a website, which I don't think is necessary per se, but I think it's a good idea to have one. You could live without one, but I think it's a good idea to have one because, first of all, you want to collect email addresses, and a website opt-in is the best way to do that. But on your website, which could simply be a one-page website that says, hi, I'm Erin. I'm a health coach that helps these kinds of people. Click here to book a call, or send me a message, and here's a contact form. A simple contact form. Now, building a website, I just said that off the cuff like that was easy. Well, it is actually. Okay, it actually is incredibly easy. You'd be surprised. Many website building tools are designed for newbies and non-tech savvy people. And it's a question of just, filling in a template, putting a picture where the picture placeholder is, putting some text where the text placeholder is, pressing publish. You might want to buy a web domain, a URL. So you might buy www.erinscoolcoachingbiz.com or something like that. And then you can simply hook that up. I'm making it sound very simple, but I promise you it is. And if you don't know how to do it or you don't want to do it, let's say you build your website using a tool like Wix, which is a very simple website building tool, or Squarespace. Those two are great. Those are so easy. You build it out on Wix or Squarespace, you just build it. You publish it to the internet, but you want to hook it up to your web domain, erinscoolhealthcoachingbiz.com. You can just put in a help desk ticket. Hey, people at Wix, I'd like this to go to my website domain. Can you help me? And they'll do it for you. And if you go to a really good health coaching school like Primal Health Coach Institute, we actually have tools that will build a health coaching website for you. We'll do it for you because we know it's hard. And we'll teach you how to maintain it. So simple website so people can find you, right? So if you think about people finding you, they're probably going to find you through some kind of social media marketing efforts. When they find you, they might want to click through to a website just to see what you do. You might have a blog there. You might have recipes there. You might have all kinds of cool stuff there, an about me story or whatever. But there should be some way for the customer to take the next step, which would be either sending you a message or booking in your calendar. Now you have somebody in your calendar. Great. Then you're going to want to do a consultation with them. And I would recommend doing that over Zoom. So get yourself a free Zoom account. Again, I mean, I'm making this sound easy, but go to zoom.com, sign up for a free account. You can do up to a 40-minute call. I think that's still the case with a free account. And it could be a webcam, a video call, or an audio call, but it's great. It's so easy. And then you'll send Bob the link, right? Hey, Bob, here's the Zoom link for our chat coming up tomorrow. Can't wait to talk about, your struggles and what you'd like to get out of a health coaching relationship or whatever you want to say. You might need to have an email address too. So I really recommend using the Google Suite. Get yourself a Gmail address. Simple. Probably have one of those already, but get a professional one, right? You can get Erin's Cool Health Coaching Biz at gmail.com. Or if you buy a web domain, erinscoolcoachingbiz.com, you can link up a Gmail address to your own web domain. And that's very easy as well. And the Google people can help you with that. You can say, here's my web domain that I bought off of GoDaddy. Can you make the email address go here? And they will. Like, I'm being tongue in cheek with that language, but you can approach the help desk of all of these tech platforms with very simple noob language, and they'll help you. These tools are designed for people who are not tech savvy. So you're going to get on the call with Bob, have a little consultation. Bob says yes. Well, you're going to have to take payment from Bob. So get yourself a Stripe account, stripe.com. Sign up. You'll have to put some banking information in. Then you're going to create a product, Erin's Cool Coaching Plan, $1,000. Okay, I'm going to create this plan. It costs $1,000. Bob, here's the link to make your payment. Bob clicks. He can pay with credit card. He can pay with, maybe a firm or Klarna. Like, lots of payment options. Stripe is the industry standard for now for getting payment. You'll want to send Bob some kind of intake form. So you'll have to have a form built out. I would say use Google Forms. Everybody knows how to use a Google form. It's very mobile friendly. Everybody has access to the G Suite for the most part. So make a form just asking Bob questions. What's your name? How old are you? What's your main health goal? What would you like to get out of this coaching relationship? What have you tried before? How do you eat? How do you sleep? How do you stress? Intake form questions. And by the way, at our school, we give you an intake form. So you could probably Google an intake form. You could probably ask ChatGPT to create you a great health coaching intake form. Use that technology too. Really, you could actually probably ask ChatGPT how to do all this stuff that I'm telling you to do. Yeah, and maybe Chat could give it to you more articulately than I'm even doing it. Hard to say. You want a client agreement. Now, this is where something a client will sign, ideally using some kind of a DocuSign or online signing tool. So DocuSign or HelloSign, or I think Google might have a tool for this as well. The Google Suite, for whatever it's worth, this is not sponsored. The G Suite, the Google Business Suite, has every tool you could possibly need. I would just probably stick with them for everything. Everything you can need. Email, website, booking, everything, forms. Now, we as a school, I as a podcast host, cannot tell you what should be on your agreement. But what I would suggest, and here's what I did, is I wrote it out. Here's what I'm promising my client. Here's what my client has to agree to. I wrote it in plain English. And then I used a service like Conscious Counsel. These are some lawyers that we really like. Conscious Counsel, Lisa Fraley, a lot of health coaching law firms that can help draw up your agreement in proper legal speak. And it's a little bit of an investment financially, but it's the cost of doing business. You'll definitely want to have an agreement so the client knows what they're getting and what you're getting and what the parameters of this relationship are. Then that could be it. Once you have a signed agreement, an intake form, and you've been paid, you now have a client. Congratulations. The client found you through a marketing channel of some kind, communicated with you and booked in your calendar through some web tool. You got on Zoom with them and had a conversation with them, analog conversation over a digital platform. They said yes. You took payment using a payment link. You sent over an intake form using a form tool. You sent over a client agreement using some kind of contract signing tool. So we got some tools here. Some of these are free. Some of them cost a little bit of money. They're inexpensive. They're very easy to use. Now you have a client in your roster. And as far as I'm concerned, from here on out, the whole thing could be low tech. You could do telephone calls with your clients once a week. You could be emailing your client PDFs for menus, recipes, exercises, or you can go high tech with it. You can build a whole course platform using a learning management system like Thinkific or Kajabi or Mighty Networks or School. You could have a whole video library, an exercise repository. You could have a community component. You could. To me, that's all nice to have. But health coaching is a human to human connection. So as long as you can get the human into your roster using all those steps I just identified, then you're good. And it's so interesting because I think this all comes full circle. It's 2026. It's time to get friendly with technology. It's time to get friendly with social media. The people are on the internet. You're on the internet. Be on the internet. I would advise setting your business up to have a digital presence. It's not mandatory, but it's a lot easier. And just being able to understand technology, understand the client journey from finding you, right? The client is finding you. What do they see when they find you? How do they get in touch with you if they like you? This is all very logical. The customer journey is very logical. Not knowing how to use technology, why would you? Why would you know how to use that? Have you ever done that before? No. Is this a new skill? Yeah. Can you learn new skills? 100% you can. Yeah. I promise you, a lot stupider people than you have figured out how to make a booking tool or a website. I promise you, you can do it. And if I had a tough love hat, which I don't, if I put my tough love hat on, I'd say, yeah, it's time. It's time to do it. Health coaching success, obstacles, which is sort of the origin of this talk, they won't be overcome by waving a magic wand or buying a lottery ticket. We just have to grind it out a little bit and do some work. Now, at risk of being a broken record, I've shared this thought many times before, but I reflect back on the very early days of my coaching practice so fondly. Putting together the systems, running myself through, okay, I'm the client. I click the button, then what happens? Okay, I go here. Do I like this experience? Well, how would I like to be different? Maybe I could ask them a different question here. Okay, does that feel smooth or does that feel clunky? What's the friction level? Does it make sense how you get in my calendar? Does it make sense how we're going to do the consultation? Does the pricing link work? Does it go into my bank account? Did I get paid? Testing things as the customer, because you know what you like. You're also a consumer. So think about that. Leverage this. This is really important, actually. Final takeaway. You're a consumer and you probably consume products and services that you came across online. So maybe it's a dog walker you found or a hairstylist and you found their Instagram page and they do this really cute school bus pickup thing with the dogs, or, oh, she's a blonde specialist. So you follow this person on Instagram, you like what they're doing, you click a button, a link in their bio, book here, click here to book a call, click here to book an appointment, click here to get your dog on the pickup list, click here for a doggy intake interview so we can see if your dog is a fit for the doggy daycare or whatever. You've done this before. You've paid for things online before. You've had good experiences and bad experiences. You know what it feels like when you have a good experience. You know what it feels like when you have a bad experience. So start using the technology and contemplate it from the perspective of the customer experience. And you are a customer, so you actually are kind of an expert at this. Have some fun with it. Okay. Again, I am a tech-oriented person, but for me, putting together the pieces, the very essential necessities of technology and marketing, business development, and client acquisition stuff, client experience, I found it really fun. And it's also just necessary. You just simply have to do it. We can't skip over it. So have a little fun with it. Relax into the process. This, at the end of the day, is a calling for you. You want to do this. This is something that's very meaningfully important to you. It's going to take a little elbow grease, but it's going to be so worth it. Obstacles are opportunities to grow and expand yourself into nooks and crannies and expertises that you didn't think you could even do. You will be surprised at how tech savvy you can become. You'll be surprised at how good at putting yourself out there in marketing you can become. You'll be surprised at how many clients want to work with you. Right now, you don't see it, but imagine it. Please try to imagine what this is like when it's working for you. And believe that you can do it because I do, and you can.